I've created 5 businesses. I was the first person to do meme-based ads for Facebook and Instagram. I had one language school client. We 2.5x'd their revenue for my Japanese language school. I think I scaled it to about 30,000 US monthly recurring revenue, creating workflows using AI where I can kind of export my knowledge to the AI database, and the staff member can use that rather than having to ask me questions every 15 minutes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 80 of Colors of Web3 and Entrepreneurship. My name is Lem, your host today. For those of you who are new to the show, Colors of Web3 and Entrepreneurship is a show highlighting the journeys of builders and innovators in Web3 and entrepreneurship. Today, we're just in the world of entrepreneurship, and I'm joined by Tyson Batino. He's the co-founder of Smart Start Japan and CEO of Scaling Your Company. Tyson, could you give a quick introduction by yourself?
Sure. So my name is Tyson. I'm originally from the US, Hawaii. I've been in Japan for around half my life now, so about 21 years. And I've created 5 businesses. I've created 2 language schools that are very successful in Japan. I've created 1 consultancy agency for revenue growth. The 4th one is on setting up a company in Japan. And the 5th one is on lifetime deal software for the Japan market. And that one has just launched this month. So I would say that I'm a serial entrepreneur. I think that with all my companies, I think we employ more than 250 people.
Wow.
Probably 95% of them are in the first 2 though. So I've done pretty well. And yeah, so I just like creating businesses and serving needs for foreigners and Japanese people in Japan.
Gotcha. Yeah, actually, would love to deep dive into some of those. So, could you share a bit more, like maybe from the beginning story? Feel free to pick a point. You said that you came to Japan about 21 years ago. Maybe you can begin at that point and just walk us forward after the present day of your current companies.
Sure. So I graduated university at the University of Portland in Oregon in psychology. I plan to go to Japan to save some money to get my master's and maybe a doctorate in, let's say, becoming a therapist. I ended up not getting a master's nor becoming a therapist. I ended up becoming an entrepreneur, but came here, ended up liking life in Japan, and I've been here ever since. So yeah, 21 years now. And so my career, I was an English teacher for around maybe 5 years, an HR manager in a corporation for 3 years, where the psychology was very useful. When you have 500 employees, there are definitely people who have issues.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that background came very helpful. And yeah, then I started my first company, an English language school chain with 11 or 12 locations now. It's definitely a top 10 biggest in Japan for adults. Did that for about 8 or 9 years. During that time, I also created a Japanese language school. And that one has, I think, 4 or 5 locations now. And so that's kind of like my experience with the B2C, the business to customer side. And after that, I always planned to stay for 6 years, I think, because I always wanted to become a CEO. It's when I joined the corporation, I did very well. And I'll say very, very, very well. And I got to be in charge of the company's biggest client, or it's the biggest government, or sorry, it's how I'll describe it is it's the biggest board of education in Japan. I was put in charge of that. But a lot of things I wanted to do, I couldn't do, just, let's say, politics. And so, yeah, I decided to become an entrepreneur. But I was thinking, like, I do eventually want to become CEO. And so I served as HR director, created a subsidiary, which is the Japanese language school. and then became essentially COO for about 8 months or something, maybe even a year. And after that, I was like, okay, it's time. I need my freedom. And so I've been a CEO for about 3.5 years now, and I love it. So it's kind of tricky because let's say the first company I made has in Tokyo, a lot of Japanese people know the name. There's a lot of brand recognition. Let's say I can get, let's say, like, people, oh wow, you created that company. But ultimately, do I choose fame or do I choose freedom? And I think I'm probably the type who loves freedom. So
I
that's
see.
kind of how I got to becoming, let's say, a startup founder, to becoming a CEO of my own business, or running my own business. And at the moment, I'm running 3 businesses. I have different business partners for each business. And I have 2 full-time staff who help me with those businesses, and we're hiring 1 more full-time staff. And so, if I had to kind of explain who I am, I would say I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I like to create businesses that are not douchey. And that's
Good to know. Good to know. I think we all have like we want to do business that are ethical, right? And then also like helping the society and that we live in. So cool. So you said you were like founded the English language school. That was the first one,
that
right?
is
And then
correct. Yeah.
and then later on you opened the Japanese language school.
Yes, which
Yeah.
is a subsidiary of the English school.
Okay, I see. And these are the 2 that you're still running. Does it say, or are these like?
I'm no longer involved, but all the people who worked under me are still working there, running the show.
I see. Exciting. Yeah.
And so
Cool.
that's
And
kind of a theme of my life. Even when I work corporate, I would say I think 3 of the people, they've been working there for like 13 years now, and those were the people I train. So that's kind of a unique theme I have, is whenever I leave a place, the people who I've trained end up running it and have been there. Some have been there for like 6 years, some 12, 13 years.
I see. Cool. Yeah. And what was the? I guess like just could you share more about a bit like why? What was the origin story of the English language school and then the subsequently the
That
Japan
one,
language school?
it's ironically, there's a person who I was supposed to let go. I decided to not let him go. And one day he messaged me on Facebook and said, I know this really successful Japanese entrepreneur. He wants to create an English language school chain. They have big visions. And I told him, you're the guy for it. And I was like, cool. And I quit my corporate job. I was doing, I think, a 5-week tour of, I think, Cambodia, Thailand, I think Malaysia, and the timing was just perfect. Or sorry, it was a 3-week vacation. And when I came back to Japan, met the guys, and had the opportunity to work with 2 entrepreneurs who had created a $1 million revenue company already. And I was going to be the one first-time founder. And I was like, well, I could go for an MBA or work with amazing people like this. And I worked out.
I see. Yeah, makes sense. So basically, you were like a co-founder. Was that right? Yeah. Of
That is
those 2.
correct. I
Yeah,
was the
co-founder.
3rd
And
co-founder.
awesome. Yeah. And then you guys began the school. I don't even know what is required to begin the school. I imagine that you need location, teacher, curriculum. There's probably operational
One
stuff
of
as
them
well, right?
covered the location.
Yeah.
The other one covered marketing. I covered curriculum, and anything regarding the service, I was in charge of the service. So it was the perfect team. One
I see.
person had location we could use. The other person was a top-notch marketer. And anything regarding the lessons, the teachers, the training, I would say I could do it in my sleep, since I already did it in my corporate job.
I see. Yeah, because you said in your previous life you were doing a English school teacher, right? And then
Managing 150 full-time teachers.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
So let's
Makes
say
sense.
running a
Yeah,
company with 3 teachers was extremely easy.
I see. Okay. So it's like a smaller version, but then, yeah. Okay. Cool. And then after running that for a couple of years or many years, right? And then you said you guys founded the Japanese language school, right? And then use
Sorry,
similar
I
model.
did it for 6 years,
Mm.
and then I decided to step down from HR director, and I took over. I created a subsidiary, so I built the Japanese language school as a subsidiary of the English school from 0 to 4 locations now.
Okay. Cool. And then yeah, fast forward to the days of the school, and then Japanese language school expanded. You got 4 or 5 location, and then what was like the origin story of like you begin what you're doing now?
Gotcha. It's my wife hates Tokyo, and put simply, she wanted to leave Tokyo. I said yes, I'll support you. I'll leave Tokyo. And so let's say, and I didn't want a corporate job, and with my company I founded, because I wasn't there physically, it was hard to do the job. So we both myself and my co-founders, we decided that I would step down I would leave in, I think, 6 months. I'll stay for 6 months, make sure everything's smooth, and leave. And during that time, I thought about, well, I don't want to work for a company because I want freedom. I also need to make money quickly. So what the hell should I do? I was like, the first step was thinking about what would people actually pay me to do. And the answer for that was two things. One is growing revenue for a business, since I've helped scale 2 businesses. So how do you grow revenue through sales and marketing? And the second one was, because I was HR director, any company that has, like, management issues, the team is not performing, or the CEO doesn't know what the hell they're doing, they're over in their head. I just started doing advisory, just telling people, yeah, if you want to chat with me for an hour a month, we can do an hour session, 2 1-hour sessions, 4 1-hour sessions a month. Yeah, I can do that for you. I can do the job. And so I think I was able to get to around maybe 3,000 US in the first month, which is for those who've been in Japan, $3,000 can get you a lot in Japan.
Yeah, you can live a pretty comfy life. I mean, if it's outside Tokyo, you can stretch your
Yep.
budget even further. Yeah.
And you can get an apartment in Tokyo for like $600. And so yeah, so I was very I was very happy that I was able to get so many customers in my first month. But let's say, just the track record I had at the corporate, and also creating 2 businesses, made it very easy to get customers. So yes, I kind of just followed the money, I guess, is the easiest way, meaning I needed to pay my bills. And so I'm still doing that. I was doing up to about maybe 80 hours of one-on-one advisory a month. Like 80 hours is insane. Like, it's and if you ask any coaches, they'll be like, maybe they'll do like 640 a month. Like, even 60 a month is a lot for a coach, but
Yeah.
80 is like unheard of. That's like basically 4 hours a day.
Yeah,
But
I bet.
I did that for about 2.5 years. I helped about 35 companies scale, some significantly scale. And then I got to the point, like, yeah, with 80 hours a month, like, I can't really take vacation for a week, because I have to pretty much be open. So, like, I was kind of I mean, I had freedom in the sense that I could do whatever I want if I didn't have a booking. But in a way, like, by having so many clients, it made it difficult for me to actually, like, take a week off, or just take 4 days off, because I always had to make myself available. And because that was one of my selling points, it's flexibility. And so I decided to, then I was thinking, what business could I create? And then I kept getting these inquiries about setting up a business in Japan. And then so I was like, okay, this sounds pretty interesting. I was introducing them to other companies, and the other companies I introduced them were really good. Like, I was pretty happy with who I was introducing them to, but I noticed that they couldn't close the deal on a lot of the companies. Like, it was like maybe like 10% and it was just like, what's going on here? It's only 10%. Like, these guys are good. There's something. And I realized it was the price. So, and the people in Japan who provide really poor quality service, they're very cheap. And those who provide great service is very expensive. But there was no one who provided very good quality service for a good price. And so that's how I kind of stumbled on Smart Start Japan. It was through the inquiries coming to my advisory business. And so with that, I was like, okay, cool, I'll give this a try. I had one co-founder for 3 months. It didn't work out. And then I decided to look for a new co-founder, and I found the right co-founder. And it was, I'll say the difference is with the previous co-founder, he's like, yeah, cool, thanks for getting the client. I can meet them next week. I was like, no, you got to meet them now. Let's say we don't have time to wait 7 days. Like, they're going to find somebody else.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, it's not going to work out. But my new partner, it's client wants to meet Saturday 12 a.m. No problem. He'll meet a client even on a Sunday sometimes. And I was like, cool, this is a real co-founder. Like, so if they're not willing to work on Saturdays, like, are they really a co-founder? But so I found the perfect person. I just bring in the customers, he takes care of the rest. If I can get them on a call with him, he pretty much closes the deal. And so I think it was kind of like a match made in heaven. And I think his weaknesses were more on the operation side and getting customers. And operations, getting customers, that's my specialty. So it worked out really good. And I think this month we got 16 companies from overseas.
Nice.
Like, just for 2 people. It's an insane amount of business for 2 people. So so the incorporation side is going really good. And so we have a couple ideas on how to expand that. But basically, if anyone wants to set up a business in Japan, we can take care of probably 90% of things, like bank account, setting up, visa, license,
I see.
virtual office, whatever
Yeah.
you need, we can take care of it.
I see. Yeah, maybe now would be like a good segue if you want to share any presentation or website about the 2 companies that you're running. That'd probably be the time now.
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe begin with scaling your company and then Smart Start Japan, just for the timeline, right? Chronological order.
Yeah, I'll make it pretty quick. And cool. So so of the companies I'm active in at the moment, so scaling your company, if you need help with growing your company, it's especially service businesses or physical location businesses or software businesses like SaaS. Those are my 3 areas of expertise. And I can help you with B2B sales, B2B sales to corporations. This applies to the US or in English, or I'll say in English or Japanese, I can help in both languages. And so if you have a service business like accounting, law, legal, tech dev, or a physical location like a restaurant, language school, gym, or software, SaaS business, I can help you with that for sure. And I can help you in 2 ways. One is advisory. So you bring in your problems, I tell you what to do, or I give you tips on what to do or what most likely would work. And then the other one is we also do digital marketing services, and we just do websites and Google AdWords, Google Maps, and maybe Google SEO if we feel it's a good fit or not. And the main reason we focus on those areas is those are the areas that get results. It's someone searching
Makes
for your
sense.
service. We help them find your service, and then we make sure the website's good so that they actually buy your service. So, yeah, we really like to we're focused on the areas of marketing that works really well. And once you start getting a lot more money, then you can invest in maybe something like organic, or like like let's say like YouTube ads, Instagram ads, or things like that. But depending on the business, Facebook and Instagram ads are a pretty good channel.
Yeah, I see. So basically, this is like industry agnostic, right? You help a variety of industry. You just
I'll
like
say service, businesses, software, and physical locations. But if it's e-commerce, I'll say e-commerce is not our specialty.
Okay. Yeah, because well, physical location, so it sounds like retail. I mean, there's yeah.
Yep, because I have my own
Interesting.
I have my own physical location. We
Mm-hmm.
have 16 locations. For the service side, Smart Start Japan is a service. Scaling your company is a service. So I've had to sell that, and but I've also helped quite a few software companies as well.
Interesting. Yeah, can you maybe share some example, maybe of some success? I mean, I don't know, depending if it's not under NDA or something, feel free to share some of the
Yeah, no,
companies that you
it's
have helped. Yeah.
so I think the main ones are so I think I had one language school client in Tokyo. I helped them go from basically I think we 2.5x their revenue from, but I think I helped them from I think 230 to about 400 students, but I think we about 2.5 to 2.7x their revenue. So increasing prices. They rank on Google Search and Google Maps, also helping them improving the website, so it has a higher conversion rate. And just through that, we're able to get pretty much double in size. So now they're considering getting expanding to a new location because they're at capacity. Another example is so I can give my Japanese language school example. So for my Japanese language school, I think I scaled it to about maybe 30,000 US monthly recurring revenue just through Facebook and Instagram ads. And the unique angle I found was that no one in Japan was doing memes. So I was the first person to do meme based ads for Facebook and Instagram in the English language. And that was a hit. So some of my ads, let's say, Japan is kind of a small market, but we got like 1,000 likes, 100 shares, 100 comments on our Facebook and Instagram ads because they're pretty interesting. And one, just to give you an example, was one thing that I found was that Filipinos engage at a much higher rate than Caucasians.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I'll say Southeast Asians engage at a much more higher rate than Caucasians, and so especially Filipinos. So we did memes that had like a Christian theme. So like one example, we had a person in a church saying like, "God, please give me Japanese abilities. It's too hard to study, so just give me the Japanese abilities." Because Japanese is one of the hardest languages for English speakers to learn.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, if you don't have like a base, because you have to learn like the 3 different alphabets, right? And then just very lengthy process,
So that
tricky
was
grammar as well too. Yeah.
so we kind of did memes, some that were really silly, or and so I was able to scale it just with Facebook and Instagram ads. So that was another case. Another client, we use a software called instantly.com, or sorry, instantly.ai. It's code emails. But what we did is so one was improving the website so more people convert, and then getting people to the website through Google Ads. And then the third way of doing it was doing a lot of code emails through instantly.ai. And so I think the combination of a good code email plus a good website led to 6-figure revenues.
Nice, interesting. So they were like was that like a SaaS-based business? Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Interesting.
And all of my businesses as well has reached, I think all of them have done 6 figures in the first year. We'll see
great,
with this
yeah.
fifth business, because we've been, if I don't count the 4 months of development, I think I can hit 6 figures for the 5th business.
Nice. Yeah. Interesting. So, I mean, as a company, right, for scaling your company that helps firm scales in Japan, like what structural or cultural challenges do international businesses like most underestimate when entering Japan?
One is, I think they get too cheap on translation, meaning or they call it localization is more the technical term. But localization means translating into the language of the country, but also designing things based on the culture and buying behaviors in that country. And so the issues that you find with a lot of foreign companies is they'll translate the website, but it's not localized. And so
I
you'll
see.
have like even big companies like, and when I look at the websites, like obviously you've just translated the website, and I'm not sure if I can swear.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to. Yeah,
But
it's
it's
okay.
very obvious you don't give a shit about the Japan market. I mean, if you're not willing to take the time to localize a website, that's like going on a date with like stains on your shirt. Like, I mean, unless you're like, what's that? I don't know who's like the good-looking guys right now, but let's say Zac Efron is probably the youngest guy I know. But maybe you might know something better. But it's unless you're like a male model, you can get away with a stain on your shirt, but for the average dude, like it's not gonna work. And it's the same thing. Like if you come to Japan, unless you're a male model, like it's if you're like Google or something like that, let's say you could get away with not localizing, but or you can kind of get away, but yes, I think that's the biggest one. And so when people show me that they're not willing to localize, I'm like, this person is a complete waste of time. And yeah, so I think that's kind of the big issue is when they see Japan, people like Japan, they see that it's a big market, they see the opportunity, but yeah, it's usually they're not willing to make the effort. So my thought is, if Japan isn't your second biggest market or not your third biggest market, like don't bother until then. Meaning, let's say tap out the US first, then come to Japan. But don't half-ass the US and don't half-ass Japan. So, because US is the king of competition,
Yeah.
and Japan is the king of longevity. Meaning you don't need to be the best, but let's say you just need to be the most popular. Whereas in the US, I mean, sometimes you don't need to be the best, but oftentimes you do need to be the best. And so, yeah, if you try to half-ass both, yeah, you'll just be mediocre in both.
Interesting insight that you have derived there, I would say. So basically, would it be fair to say that in US, like maybe customer what is it, churn would probably be higher. You did say that Japan is a king of longevity, right? And also we probably know that once you get customer here, maybe they would be more stickier. Is that
Yeah.
correct to say?
And so
Yeah.
the churn rate is low here, but the time to acquire a customer will take a lot of time. You really have to convince them that you're not another dumbass foreigner from who gives big promises and underdelivers. So Japanese companies have been burned. Pretty much every person you've talked to probably has been burned by one foreign company that overpromised and underdelivered. And so if you're one of those assholes, please don't come. You just make it harder for everyone else who's trying to set up in Japan.
I see. Yeah, makes sense. I think, but reputation is definitely very important here, and I think relationship. Japan is still very much a relationship-based society, right? So if
Yeah, and I think
you
it's
cannot,
pretty hard for I would say I wouldn't say Westerners, but I would say it's pretty hard for Americans to understand that.
yeah, and unless you
Meaning
have live
it's
in Japan, right? Yeah.
yeah, um, and especially the charismatic types really have trouble understanding that. Like it's really it's just being here, being reliable day after day, and showing that you are going to continue being here after you make the contract. And also like so it's kind of like I think a lot of the goodwill towards foreign companies have already been sucked up already. Goodwill meaning like people have overpromised and underdelivered, and so the goodwill is gone. A lot of the goodwill is gone. So it really, it's really about standing out, and that's why I keep repeating about the localization. If it's just a translation, it's like, okay, these guys are probably just like those other companies that overpromised and underdelivered. But if you localize your website, that's something my company can help with. It shows at least you care enough, and that it shows that you are you have a less likely, or you have a higher likelihood of actually staying here,
Mm,
because that is to localize is a bit of commitment. It's not Google Translate.
yeah.
And I've had clients who did try, like, the translated versions. Like, I'll say paid translator versions sucked, and I'll say the AI versions sucked even worse.
Yeah, AI hasn't got to a point where it's like would be good enough to convey a lot of the nuances and cultural understanding it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because like in localization, if I can't think of a specific example right now, but so let's say you have a software, and maybe for the Japan market, your secondary feature in the US might actually be the primary feature. And so if you just translate your website, you're losing out on the opportunity because you're focusing on the feature that you think, or that the US wants, even though the feature and what Japanese want may be different. I can't give the example from my client because
Mm,
they're in stealth mode, but they had a very unique offering for the Japan market that was the opposite of the US, or
interesting.
the complete
Yeah.
opposite. So
Cool. Yeah. So up until this day, I think you probably have how many clients did you say for scaling your company roughly?
usually I have around 30 to 35 active
Mm,
clients.
okay. Wow, that's quite a lot to juggle. Yeah. Cool. And then interesting. And now you're coupling it well with your new business, right? Called Smart Start Japan. Maybe you want to quickly touch upon that too. Yeah.
Yep. So basically, if you want to set up a business in Japan, it could be you want to come to Japan and actually run your business, or you want to set up a remote business. We can take care of pretty much everything. So, but yeah, I would say anything a normal person needs, we can take care of. But if you have some very a unique example would be like, can you please get me an auction license to buy used Japanese cars so I can export them overseas? Because Japanese people take very good care of their items,
Mm.
like electronics or cars. They take very good care. So we get about probably 10, I'll say 5 to 10 inquiries each month just for car export. There's a
Interesting.
lot of people. There's a lot of people who, because Japanese cars are good quality, used cars as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
And
they
so in
last
their
for a
case,
long
they're
time.
like, "Can you get me an auction license?" I'm like, no, we can't get you an auction license. It's extremely hard to get a. Let's say it would take you probably you need to come to Japan and spend 1 to 2 years networking like crazy and find some person who's vouched for you to join. Like and like you mentioned, Japan is all about relationships, and to get into car auctions, you need an existing member to get you in.
Okay, so someone to vouch for you, basically.
Yeah. And the foreigners, they're like, why would I want to help another foreigner who's just going to buy more cars? There's no advantage for another foreigner to make the introduction. Japanese person as well, they introduce the wrong foreigner, they may get kicked out of the group. And so what I mean to say is, we can pretty much handle everything, but there's just some unique things that we can't handle.
Okay, interesting. And then, I mean, similar to the previous company, maybe can you share any success story, a foreign startup or SME that you have helped to set up the business in Japan?
Yeah, so I think one thing, I guess, the advice is I really like the namings that we've come up with. But so Smart Start is the company name, and it's just starting smart in Japan. I'll have to add it here later, but we're gonna have a Smart Fix service where we fix the mistakes of other companies. And so yeah, we know we've had examples where someone set up a company, and the person who set up the company didn't understand the visa process. And so they had to spend probably $2,500. We had to essentially remake the company in a way. We had to change the documentation. So it ended up costing more to fix the damage than actually create the company. And so that's one example. We've had that multiple times, where the client, they couldn't get the visa, they couldn't get a bank account due to paperwork issues, and we had to do a smart fix. So if you don't do a smart start, you might need to do a smart fix. So I think I really like the branding of the name. And if someone makes a mistake, I can tease them about it. It's like, see, that's what happens when you don't start smart. And so yes, I think that's a success case, just helping foreigners. Also, yeah, and I think we had I think we had one client from, I think, Kazakhstan, where I think because they're connected to Russia, I think they had some issues, like coming over, but we're able to help them. Where it was
Okay.
a good person who just happened to be in a country connected to another country
Yeah,
that has a lot of restrictions.
I see.
And so yeah, so I think so it's pretty much it's pretty boring, because it's just a lot of legal and paperwork. It's more of the paperwork side, but yeah, just having foreigners come in, we take care of everything, and they can start smoothly. It feels pretty good. And in a lot of cases, like for a lot of our customers, living in Japan is their dream,
Hmm.
and they don't know who to trust, who to talk to in Japan. And it's rather than talking to like finding 3 to 4 professionals for different things, you just go to one place.
Makes sense. It's like a one-stop shop for everything you need, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Always
So
have someone to.
one-stop shop
Hmm.
for a price which a middle-class person can afford.
For this service, right? And then what is your like what how are you thinking of like scaling it? Is it automation, partnerships, consulting
For
service, or
this
something
one,
else?
it's yeah, it depends on my partner. He does all the fulfillment. He likes doing things that are very high quality, so it's up to him. But in my case, I already have the marketing engine built, so I could pass off the company to my employee to run for me. So let's say it could be some nice semi-passive income for me. I think after 1 year, I think we built it up to a point.
I see. So basically, you have all the. Would it be fair to say you have all the workflows and operation,
Yep.
everything mapped out, like in a
So
manual
I've created
that
all
can
the
be.
manuals, the workflows.
Mm.
Not sure if we'll go that route, but maybe we might create a software for it. But I would say it's not needed yet. So I think the next step is just to expand marketing, get more customers, and then maybe the issue with the software though is like there'll be so much customization involved.
Yeah.
So it might not make sense to go that far. But yeah, we'll see how it goes and jump into that maybe December. Explore
Okay.
maybe creating a system for it or
Mm.
an in-house software for it.
Makes sense. Yeah, and then as competition and like startup support, right, and then incorporation service, I think it's really picking up heat in Japan. Like, what's your like growth strategy for being to staying ahead
So I
of
guess
the competition?
appearing on podcasts like yours, Lam. Let's say I have a very active LinkedIn following, uh, YouTube channel, SEO. So one of the benefits of being a marketer first is how to grow your bit or how to increase revenue for your own businesses. So yeah, we're just going to keep expanding through the same channels. And I think we had about 60 inquiries last month. After this is month 12, we got about 60 inquiries. So I think it's a very solid number.
Nice. So basically, the channel is working well. And, I mean, if things work, then probably don't need to change it, right? Yeah.
Yep. And the beauty
Uh,
of Japan is all of these have to be done in Japanese.
yeah.
They're not going to automate their systems anytime soon. So yeah, we have a pretty good market that does not automate, and everything has to be done in Japanese. So people do need our help, and there's a lot of information that's not online. You just gotta, let's say, you know about it from doing it. And so yeah, we have a lot of that specialized knowledge in house. So I think we're in a pretty good situation.
So it's like some special, I guess, like kind of equivalent to like a trade secret in a way, right? Yeah. But like, yeah, that making you stronger than the other. Okay. Um, I think if I remember correctly, like since October, like this month, basically, and then Japan introduced like new rules for the business manager visa capital requirement, right?
Yeah.
This is like a new rules for foreign entrepreneur that want to come to
So it
Japan run a
hasn't
business.
been
How has it impact?
approved. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, if you wanted to create a company in Japan, you'll need $35,000 in capital, and you could self-sponsor your visa. It hasn't been approved yet, but the new or what's been reported in the newspapers is it's going to increase from 35,000 to 200,000, so an 6x increase. So yeah, we've gotten a lot of people who really wanted to come to Japan, and but they don't have $200,000. And so I think the official announcement will probably come later this month. But based on that, based on the release of this episode as well, but there might still be a chance to come to Japan. So if you've ever wanted to live in Japan, create a business, maybe own property, now is a good chance in October.
Yeah, I
you
see.
might not have an opportunity in December.
Yeah, I mean, all the opportunity might just get harder, right? Obviously, it's
Unless you have
like
200,000, or maybe there'll be some ways around it in the future, but right now is your best chance.
yeah, makes sense. What was a reason why they increased the capital requirement? Was it because of too easy in the past or something
So
else?
I think there's a combination of factors, but the first one is inflation has hit Japan, but wages have not increased. So, the amount of Japanese going overseas, and Japanese people are really feeling poor now. Like, where there's a
Yeah,
lot of people can't afford to, they can't afford to go to the US or go to Hawaii, which used to be, you go to Hawaii every year. Maybe you can go every 3 to 4 years now, just because the yen is so weak, and so the costs are going up. So you were kind of getting that, that before that US and Japan, people had a lot of surplus, but now, it's kind of like the US, where sometimes more families are living paycheck to paycheck. And so that's one big issue. And because of that, I think there is some anti-foreigner sentiment. And also a lot of foreigners, they're buying up properties. And I think more of the issues is probably more with Chinese buyers. But there's been reports on news media of, a Chinese company, they would buy an apartment building, they would jack up the rent, they would kick out the grandpa and grandma
Hmm.
out of their apartment, which they've been there for like, 20, 30 years. And then they'll rent it out on Airbnb to tourists or other foreigners. So there was kind of like a right wing populist vote. Or let's say there's been more, let's say the ruling party has lost a lot of seats, and they lost it to a new political division or faction that was, Japanese first. And so they were the ones pushing for a stricter requirements on foreigners entering Japan. And additionally, I think, like watching the news, like the UK, like in the UK, they have issues where you have people from other countries who are, I would say, they're not culturally British.
Yeah,
They came to the UK, they're not culturally British. Or like even the US, you have people come to the US who, let's say, they don't love America. And so I think Japan and, other countries have seen that, where you have these people coming into your country, they don't actually love your country, or they don't love what your culture stands for, and they try to bring their own culture and try to impose their culture onto your country. France is a big one too. Like just the crime in Paris, France is terrible. It's uh, and so yeah, they see that, and they see all these failed cases of immigration.
hmm.
And so yeah, that's why they're kind of more of a populist vote. And to be honest, I've only seen one successful case of what's the cultural merging. And I
Hmm.
think Hawaii is probably the only place that had successful merging of cultures.
Interesting.
I
Why?
would say the US is not a successful case. The reason for it is no culture is sacred in Hawaii, or nothing is sacred other than Hawaiian, let's say, some Hawaiian stuff. Like, or meaning like what's it? You don't take the rocks from the volcano. So kind of like Hawaiian culture, like some Hawaiian culture principles, that's sacred. But let's say you make fun of Filipinos, you make fun of Japanese, you make fun of Caucasians, you make fun of blacks, you make fun of Latinos. No culture is sacred. You can say anything you want about another culture because it's probably 80% true. And so I'll say that's why I'll say Hawaii is probably the only true melting pot I've experienced. Because
Interesting.
there's things you can't say about other cultures. And it's like, let's say, or it's not PC to say it. But and I think and I'll say if you have things that you can't say, then it's not a melting pot. You're just pretending. So it was interesting growing up in Hawaii. I would say maybe Caucasians might not agree with that, probably who grew up there in the 90s, 2000s. But I would say if you're not Caucasian and in the 90s and 2000s, it was definitely it was a melting pot. So, like why is Japan being a little bit more resistance to bring in foreigners? It's because the US, the UK, France are not good role models.
I see. Interesting. Yeah, that's something. Well, no, I mean Hawaii, but maybe would like to experience that someday to see how it is. That's still like one of the destinations that I would like to go someday. There's a couple of questions before we close out the show. One is that running multiple companies at the same time. What are some of the challenges facing your team, and how you overcome them?
Yeah, I would say the challenges are one is I think in my case like being very senior level, meaning like there's so many things that I can do to a very high degree of quality. And I think the challenge I'm comfortable with it now, but it's I don't have the money to hire another senior level person. And at the same time, let's say I do have the money to hire junior level staff. So I think the challenge is I accept it, but just being patient with the junior level staff and training them how to do their job better, because that's kind of the phase that we're at for the company. Maybe next year I could hire a senior level person, but at the moment, let's say I have to work with what I can afford. And so it's accepting. So I guess the solution for that is, yeah, I've been really diving a lot into AI and creating workflows using AI, and where I can kind of export my knowledge, plug in my knowledge to the AI database, and the staff member can use that to aid them in their work rather than having to ask me questions every 15 minutes. So I'll say that's one is, so how can I scale myself? It's exporting my knowledge to AI and letting my staff access that. The second challenge is, yeah, I think the second challenge we're working on, I guess I'm trying to make it interesting for the users, but because the issue we have right now is we actually probably have too many clients for the incorporation side. So I guess I'm getting better at filtering them, but information that's useful. Yeah, I would say so. The challenge, I think, with a lot of companies I help, I think the biggest challenge is there's a lot of different ways to do marketing, different channels, YouTube, LinkedIn, Google Search, Google Maps, paid ads, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Reddit. There's different channels of doing marketing, and I think it's really finding the right channel for your business. And so I guess the solution, in my case, it's having to do research, having to talk to a lot of people who are doing well in that, or looking for companies in the similar space of mine who's doing very well. And then also looking for opportunities, marketing channels that haven't been used yet in the same market. And I think using that can create a competitive advantage.
Interesting. That makes sense. I think you just reminded me of like there's something there's a like a it's not like a law but like a rule in marketing where it's like there's eventually most of the channel will get exhausted in a way, right? And then the
I
cost will go up, you know what I mean? And then over time, right? And then so like then you have to go like find a new channel, and then eventually the channel also get dry up, right? And then of course it's spread out from the developed market to like the developing market. So there's like stages, and so you definitely want to find that type of channel, right, for the company. So that's
so
a
yeah,
very good point that you
and
brought up.
so
Cool.
and I find that for clients, I really have to. It really has to be custom tailored, meaning there's no generic answer. The answer for each company is different. Like so, for the Japanese language school, Instagram is king.
Mm.
For the English school, I think SEO is definitely king. Social media is good too, but SEO is definitely where it's at. And yeah, and I think for my fifth business, so for the fifth business, we're basically for just the Japan market, we're selling lifetime deal access to software. So
Okay. What sort of
there
software?
so for example, let's say one is Google, like kind of like ad, like you have ads on your website, so it could help you generate. You just give in your colors for your brand, you give it some copywriting, and it can pump out ads for Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, Google ad or Google display ads all at once. Another example would be yeah, just like a code emailing software where one is, let's say, if you send a lot of emails, you'll get marked as spam. It won't send anymore. So you'll create a lot of email addresses, like smartstartjapan.com is our main one, but smartstart-japan.com, smart-startjapan.com, starting smartjapan.com.
Mm.
And let's say, and the email can just let's say they'll use different email addresses to make sure you don't get spam. And if someone replies, it all goes into one email box. So we have a lot of marketing and sales tools, and for the Japan market in English, and quite a few, probably I would say 50% are in Japanese, and we're also helping them with localization. So I guess if any listeners has a product which is let's say, I'll say probably seed stage, I'll say beyond MVP. It doesn't have to be mature, but beyond MVP, we can help you sell it in the Japan market. And we're focusing mainly on marketing and sales tools.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and we
Mm.
can help with localization as well. And the name of that one is we do have an English site, but our main target is Japanese. But it's AI
AI market. Mm-hmm.
market.co.jp. And the funniest story is let's say this is like .com for Japan. Like .co.jp is like .com for Japan.
Yeah,
And
it
we
is.
were
Yeah.
able to get the domain name AI-market for Japan at the base price.
Oh,
I think
nice.
it was like maybe $20 or something.
Yeah, like 10 or $20 a month.
Yeah,
Okay,
10 to
a
20
year.
bucks. I think Japan I think in the US you can get it for like 10 to 15 bucks. Here it's about 20 to 25, but so no one had bought this domain name in Japan, I think as of like July 2025. So when people say Japan is behind in technology, this might be a case in point. I could never imagine in my wildest dreams that we would get the domain name AI market.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's pretty strong, and I mean very strong. Obviously, it's just two words and have a big AI keyword in there, and then yeah, strong
Yep.
domain, very
And
tailored
I
for market.
have two Japanese co-founders, and we have the English version and yeah, Japanese as well.
So is this also in conjunction with Smart Start Japan, or is this separate?
So all Yeah, so Smart Start Japan and AI Market are different companies. I have different co-founders as well. So my
I
style
see.
is I like to have co-founders, and I'll help out with the marketing and sales.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And
I
that's a natural transition point, going from consulting to actually building businesses. But to be honest, I actually do like consulting. So like people still ask me like, why do you do consulting? It's like I get to advise 30 companies on revenue growth. And so I get to do so many thought experiments. And let's say, so rather than if I just did one company, I'll just know what works, what I did. But now that I can work with 30 different companies, I can see so many different things, so many different industries, and my job will be the magician to bring things together. Like what works for some industries, apply it to a separate industry. And so I think that gives me a unique background for growth.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, a lot of the learnings can actually be transferable, right, from one industry to another, and then yeah,
Exactly.
and well, and
That
then
someone in the industry might not notice because they're just
yeah,
following best practices.
hmm in there. How did you find the different co-founders here for like the different businesses? I think that might be helpful for the listener interested in entrepreneurship, right? Who's like beginning out by themselves. And,
Yeah, so I think my story may not be as useful for the listeners, but for AI market, I posted on LinkedIn that I'm looking to start a new business in these areas, and I think 30 people messaged me. And
nice,
so it was pretty easy, and I just narrowed it down to three, and then ended up, one of them worked out. So LinkedIn, if you ever need me for a case study, you could use me as a
interesting.
case study. For
Yeah,
Smart Start Japan, I think it was I think I asked a friend, like saying, yeah, my first co-founder didn't work. I have all the materials, I'm ready to go. Do you know anyone? And they're like, you should talk to this guy. And so they introduced him to me, and we connected well, and it worked out great. For One Coin English, the English school, it was a former employee who introduced me to them as Tyson's the guy, or
hmm
he's him. And so in a lot of these cases, it's because I have a track record of delivering high results. Uh, People have come to me.
makes sense. Yeah,
But because of that, I've also been able to be selective of who to work with.
yeah,
And what I like to say is through quantity, you can find quality.
yeah. That's true. You do need to like it's. I guess it's like the same as like with any when you choose like a supplier or vendor, right? The same. You have to go through at least a few to know which is good, which is like the standard, and then
So I
makes
guess that
sense.
would be maybe the applicable advice is find ways where you can get experience quantity and then narrow down to quality from there. And
Makes
then,
sense.
yep, try to get, I guess, 20 to 30, narrow down to five, narrow down to three, then choose the one.
Makes sense. Awesome. Yeah, this is awesome advice. Well, once again, Tyson, thanks for being on the show today and talking about all the different business ventures that you're running in Japan. I wish you the best of luck moving forward. Yeah, where can people follow you, by the way? It's like
Probably LinkedIn
anyone
is best.
LinkedIn. Okay. Yeah.
Tyson Batino at LinkedIn, or if you're looking for revenue growth, it's scaling your company on YouTube. If you're looking for setting up, it's Smart Start Japan on YouTube. So I'll say either LinkedIn or YouTube. A lot of content on both.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll make sure to put all the links in the show notes for the listener and also for the viewers so that they can follow and connect with you. Thank you again, Tyson, and it's been a real pleasure. Yeah, hope to see
Hey,
you some other time.
thanks, Lem.
And we're back to my studio. What do you think about the different businesses that Tyson are running in Japan? If you ever think about starting or scaling a business in Japan, then you know whom to contact already. For the next episode, we'll be back to the Web3 world to talk to Griffin Dunaife, CEO of Holiday. Holiday is building the workflow protocol and a payments layer for Web3, enabling frictionless on-chain transactions by routing through optimal bridges, swaps, and on-ramps while remaining fully non-custodial. The flagship product, Holiday Payments, allows users to acquire any tokens on any chain using fiat or crypto and supports seamless cross-chain swap via intelligent routing. If you enjoyed this episode about Japan entrepreneurship, please give a like and subscribe. It means a lot to us. Thank you for watching and see you next time.